has a form that is more suited to evaluating a counter-based loop than working through a word list. In this format, we specify an initial command to run, a test expression to use before running the action list, and a loop command to run after the list. The way that this command works is when the loop begins, the initial command is executed once and only once. The test expression is then evaluated to true or false. If it evaluates to true, the command list between do and done is executed once. Then the loop command gets run, usually to increase or decrease a counter. And then we go back to the test expression and test again. If the test is still true, we run the command list again, then the loop command again, and come back to the test expression. Break and continue may be used in the for command. An example looks like this. I'll use VI to create a script file that implements a little guessing game. In addition to making the user guess the answer, we will give them hints so that they can optimize their guesses. And since we give them that advantage, we will also limit how many guesses they get. So we're going to be working with a countdown. It's a bash script. We need hash bang. We're going to begin by creating a secret number for them to guess. We can go ahead and use the bash random variable with a range and an offset to create a random number from 1 to 10 and store it in the variable secret. We will then use a for loop. We'll be specifying an initial command, and this initial command is normally used to initialize your counter. You can count up or you can count down. It doesn't matter which way you go, as long as you are consistent in how you do it. For this example, I will choose to count up. So my count will start at 0. A semicolon ends the initial command. The test expression is going to check if the user has run out of guesses. Since there are only 10 numbers to choose from, the user should always be able to get the answer within 4 guesses maximum. So I will allow the user to do this as long as the count has not gotten to 4. Note that the test uses the less than symbol as opposed to the -LT test from the test expressions in the test command we have been using so far in bash. When used this way, the for command has its own test expressions. Refer to the manual page to see a list of them. Semicolon ends the test expression, and our loop command is the thing that should be done every time we go through the loop, no matter what else happens at the end of the loop. The thing we wish to do each time we go through the loop is tell them they've used up a command, or at least note that they have. So we want to add 1 to the count. We could say count equals count plus 1, but there's a short form we can use for this that makes life easier, where we can put ++ after the variable name, and then we don't need to assign it back to itself. Count ++ means add 1 to whatever is in the count variable. There is also count -, which subtracts 1 from whatever is in the count variable. This is known as incrementing and decrementing. We still need our semicolon after our statement. The list of commands is started with the command do or keyword do. And now we're going to go ahead and put in the command list to run once each time through the loop. We want the user to guess, so we'll begin by asking them to guess. We can use a simple read command. With a prompt so the user knows what we want. And we'll save their answer. For the sake of simplicity, we're going to assume they actually gave us a number and that it's a proper number. We can test to see whether they gave us the right answer. We'll put $guess in quotes in case they just pressed enter, so our script doesn't wind up crashing. We'll check to see if it's less than the number stored in our secret, which doesn't require quotes because we know it's got a number in it. The test command is terminated with a semicolon. If requires then before it begins the commands. If their guess was less than our secret number, then we will give them the hint that they guessed too low and they should be trying again. Otherwise, if their guess was greater than our secret number, test if the variable their answer is in is greater than the variable that stores our secret number, terminate the test with a semicolon. Then in that case, we need to tell them that their guess was too high and that they'll have to try again. Otherwise, if it wasn't too low and it wasn't too high, their answer must have been correct. Let them know they've won. And since there is no point in doing anything else in the loop since they've won, we can go ahead and break out of our loop, jumping to the end. Our if statement is done. We'll terminate that with fi. There's nothing else to do in our loop because our counter will be incremented by the loop command. So we can put done to go back and go through the loop again, which of course we'll only do if they didn't get it correct. If they did get it correct, and we have broken our loop and gone to the end, we can let them know the game is over. Let's give this a try and see if it works. If we're going to run it as a command, we might choose to make it executable so that we can type the file name as a command. Since it's not on our command path, we will have to specify a path to the command. It's in the current directory, so we can go ahead and run / the command name. It has chosen a secret number, stored it in the secret variable. It has set the count of guesses to 0. The count is less than 4. So it's now asking us to pick a number. So I'll go ahead and pick a number. Apparently I guessed too high. I didn't hit the you win, so it did not break out of the loop. It went down to the end where done was. It ran the loop command. My number of counts is now at 1, the number in the count variable. I haven't run out of guesses yet. Count is still less than 4. And I can go ahead and try another number. I'm apparently too high and have to try again. So our loop command has run. Our count has gone up to 2 now. The count is still less than 4. I'm allowed to guess again. My third guess was also too high. Count has been incremented again. It's now 3, which is still less than 4. I can get one more guess. I get the correct number. It tells me I've won. Break jumps me to the end of the loop. And I get told game over. To recap, our loop looks like this.